My name is Enrique Encinosa. I am the author of Hard Leather, A History of Cuban Boxing, available through Amazon. It covers Cuban history from the 19th century until present, including the last wave of champions and contenders that have come from Cuba. My background is I've been in boxing over half a century as an amateur boxer, promoter, matchmaker, historian. I'm a member of IBRO, and I've been inducted into 2 Hall of Fames, the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame and the Cuban Sports Hall of Fame. The inspiration to do this book came from a lifetime. The first time I ever laced gloves on was in Cuba when I was a little kid, and it was a sport that I fell in love with immediately. Then I came as an exile to the United States, and I fought out of Chicago, Indiana, the Midwest. I became a trainer and a matchmaker in New York, New Jersey. Ended up back in Florida, and here I was meeting many of the Cuban historical figures of the 40s and the 50s who were still alive. Some of them my idols, like Luis Rodriguez, Kid Gavilan, Sugar Ramos, and eventually I became interested in the whole history of how boxing developed in Cuba as I began learning from just talking to these guys. And I spent years doing research. I'm an editor of BoxRec, and many of the Cuban fighters, there's like 3,500 of them. I've probably inputted records there for 3,000 at least. So I have a deep knowledge of Cuban boxing, how it started, how it developed, the different champions, and I don't pull any punches. I put them in with their glory and their flaws. People will enjoy my book whether they're boxing historians, whether they're boxing fans, whether they care about Cuba or not, because basically when I'm talking here, I dwell a lot on the human experience. So in this book, I develop the history as it happened, and I try to, give a certain tone of enrichment to the characters who created it, because basically it's the human concept that has created all the thing that keeps it going. Budenich, this guy that goes to Cuba and becomes a pioneer in 3 different nations for boxing. Nobody else, to my knowledge, has done that. For the boxing fan, for the boxing historian, or just for the historian who enjoys the history of any place, for the person who likes anecdotes about courage, valor, and the human experience, and for the boxing freak who really likes the little details and all the research accumulated through more than 50 years in boxing, I recommend my book, Hard Leather, A History of Cuban Boxing, available through Amazon.